All right, let's break down your Garden of Eden so you understand what's going on in the world a little bit, because we have this motion picture, this television, it's been given life. And it gave life in such a way where it brought you the so-called good first, okay? And then it brought in the bad later on, and then it brought in the color, and we saw the devil's lettuce before this. We saw the devil's music coming in at the same time. We saw the censorship where you couldn't even see a man's hips gyrate or whatever on the TV. So all these things worked in layers to start off as far as what is good. Okay, so the good old days, depending when you're born and what you call good, will depend on where you are going to go as far as this world is concerned, because we have a new world and a new heaven and an earth setting up, and the earth and heaven is connected to the physical and the spiritual. What's the spiritual? The things you hear, the things you smell, the things you taste, and they intermingle in with our body. Okay, so we are a downloading machine. We are a living robot. We are a liquid metal robot. We are a living earth organism that we are made to download and to move forward in this world and to give this world life and to live with this world, not against this world. And your brothers and sisters, the people around you, are the people of this world. Okay? And you have worlds colliding. You have old lights and new lights colliding. New candles, old candles coming together. Okay? And this old candle may not be out all the way, but they're putting the new one on to where this new candle, when it gets raised up, it's going to shoot up. And this old candle that was up so high, whatever, is going to be brought down low. Okay, and that's where kind of America is at, where the Lady Liberty, what she does, her torch is going out, she's bringing it out, bringing it back up, and whatever, and as she does that, lights it up, and then the phoenix comes out of that fire, and it's all that, where she's taking a bird's nest, and all these little different overlays, okay, to tell us the story. So, as this motion picture has been given life, we can look back, especially those born on the Generation X or near those time frames at the beginning of that millennial structure. But we can look back and see, or depending how your parents lived and brought you up, would depend on what kind of markers you would be, because while we're all the same, we're not the same, because we all didn't grow up in a Catholic church or all a Baptist church or no church at all or those types of things. So as we're in one nation under God, God is light and we are all the lampstands of God. So we can worship God however we want, but they want to take their begotten son, their so-called Jesus Christ or whatever, or whoever, Muslim, Allah or whatever, and they want to say to worship it this way, that way, or whatever. Okay, so the Judeo-Christian nation of America is what's kind of been hijacking our nation as this motion picture is created with Israel, with Hitler, with the World War II propaganda films and all these things overlaying, and then it's created this Zionism or anti-Zionism, if you believe in it or don't believe it. Either way, you're Zionist, okay? But it's where you're the child of hell by believing in hell. You're the child of sin by not doing the so-called sin. And you're trying to reflect your so-called begotten son that's being shown before you by whatever cult leader you decide or whatever doctor you decide or whatever, because sin is the moon worship, and anything we're told can be a sin. So it's just not the so-called law, or the law is just symbolic. It's where it tells you the Covenants are allegory, dude. All right? Don't worship the letter. The kingdom of God doesn't exist in word. So, and we can see this now as the prophecy was in the prophecy, and we can see the ones who have been given the gift can see in art, can see in whatever we fucking look at, we can see a sequence in time and a pattern and an allegory that this world is built on. Okay? So this is where everything's kind of been set up as these lights and stuff are being shown and given, as people are seeking truth and grace in this world, seeking truth and living by grace. That's where the knowledge is being gathered in a way and being set out in another way, to where you have people believing in scripted realities or whatever, where something may be scripted in one level, but then they just take it where everything's scripted. Or like there may be a tranny here or there or whatever, but then everybody's a tranny, or those type of things going on. So you got to have the balance and know the balance, to where there may be some deep fakes, but not everything you're seeing is a deep fake or whatever. So there is a real Donald Trump, but not every time you watch Donald Trump, it's really him. Sometimes it might be a deep fake or whatever. And it's not AI necessarily doing these things, it's CGI that you're watching. And that's part of the beast of the sea coming. So, and then that single eye, the sin gill. You catch the fish by the gill, or you damage your gill, you might as well just eat the fish. So that's kind of what's going on. And then that's where they've already taken the hook, line, and sinker. And they've taken the Christ session at the right hand as they worship his name and number. So they're being changed on that hook. And it depends on what number hook he got you on. But you're not getting caught in the web and not getting caught in the web versus using the web. We're all using the web, but we're not getting caught in it, in a matter of speaking. We're using it in our hand to figure it out and to catch the fish and to actually do the fishing. And when we rose up out of the water and those side of things, as we were in the age of Pisces, and we're coming up out of that. So so this image that's been given life, we can see how these people in a lot of this world is angry, and they got this fire stirred up inside them because they're living on the lowest chakra, and they've been taught this, that, and the other about the good old days or whatever, and they're basing their emotions on these things, and they don't understand the new good old days. And it's your choice to either be happy or not be happy. Okay, it's your choice to be depressed or not depressed. And it's the way you choose to look at things. And the way we choose to look at things is being taught to us by the generation before us, and the generation before us, and the generation before us, and the church, and these things don't understand the new world as it's been given over to that lie. And that lie is that liar, that frequency, that old system or whatever. And that old system, when the new system of technology or whatever comes out, that's when the beast man and the lowest chakra and the Satan, the darkness, all these things come onto the world, like physically and spiritually and whatever, and the dead rise. And as the dead rise, these people are the dead that are seeking the salvation, because there's, well, I'm going to die, and they don't understand that they're going to be born again and again and again. And that's what Jesus is trying to tell them. Well, where does Jesus teach reincarnation? He says you're born again. And he's even asking you, like, who do you think I am? Like, am I Jeremiah or Elijah, or like, who are they calling me? Either way. And then y'all are talking about the two witnesses are coming back, Moses and Elijah or whatever. And y'all are teaching reincarnation while you're teaching against reincarnation. man. Y'all are teaching the most crazy, outlandish movie as far as the second coming, the return, and everything else, that it's been programmed for so long, and it's just kind of just, that program just has to be wiped out. But that's where kind of the rib has been taken out and covered with flesh, and that light being taken out in one way, shape, or form. Okay, but that light's also become the Antichrist, because they're hanging Jesus, on the cross with the robbers and thieves, and they're going to shut down their own nation, and everything's going to stop moving, and it's where everything's stacked on stack on stack, and while it's stack on stack, it's perfect timing to just shut everything off and restart it. And as it restarts it, that motion picture, that image given life, that God, that begotten Son, is going to gather its children, okay, and the 12 tribes on one side, and probably the 12 tribes on the other, for that 24 o'clock. But that those things would be gathering up. And then they don't teach about the 13th one. So the 13th one is the one that connects to the beast and the dragon and stuff, where these horns and heads and stuff all emerge from. So that's what you actually want to be. It's the dragon rider. Okay, not everybody knows how to train the dragon, that we're told, or can ride the dragon. So either way.